Happy Freedom Friday, ladies. It's time to talk about the Department of Government Efficiency. I, of course, got to see some of the information with regards to what Elon and Vivek are doing. And yeah, let's talk about it because 20% of Black people work for the government, whether it's federal, state, or local. So this is going to have an impact on Black people, Black women, upperly mobile Black women, and I want to see what is happening. So I'm going to put the 90-second clock on, give people a chance to come in. Like the video, ladies, and I will see you on the other side. Welcome to Black Women Making Money. We are the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. For exclusive content and invitations to our Inner Circle Zoom meetings, which happen on a monthly basis, you can sign up for free for our email newsletter at bwmakingmoney.com. That's bwmakingmoney.com. Hello, ladies. Welcome to today's discussion. Have you been following Elon and Vivek and this whole thing that's happening with regards to the Department of Government Efficiency? If you have, you're in good company because that's what we're going to talk about tonight. If you are not a government employee, of which I'm not, it's still important for us to look at what's happening because so many Black women are going to be affected. Could be your sisters, your mom, your daughters, your nieces. There was a time in Black history where our parents, our grandparents used to say to us, hey, get you an education, get you a good government job, ride it out for 40 years, and keep your head down and everything's going to be okay. Well, the Trump administration, Elon and Vivek in particular, are looking to shake things up. Now, many of you will remember that during the campaign, there was a guy who asked Elon Musk, the government is $7 trillion a year, budget has a $7 trillion a year budget. How much of that could you take off? And Elon at the top of his head said, oh, we could do about $2 trillion. Now, he doesn't even have that much bass in his voice, right? And I don't know about you, but I knew he was pulling that number out of his ass. He didn't know, he doesn't know, he has no clue. I am still the person who's going to say that I don't think Elon is that bright. Vivek is cunning. He is a little sneaky. And I'm saying this is somebody who voted for Trump, right? Vivek is sneaky. We'll see what happens with him. I I do find it very interesting that Elon is South African and Vivek is Indian American. Um, that's interesting to me. But hey, um, this is what we have going on here. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of articles. We're going to have some discussions with regards to strategy. If you work in the federal government, if you know someone who works in the federal government, if you work in a state or local government, you better watch out because the federal government does send a lot of money to the states and local governments. So, watch out for that. Knowing what kind of services may be removed. These are important things for us to know. So it's important, even if we've got really good private sector jobs, just for us to know what's going to happen around us. So that way you can get your pews ready, your 2A ready, all of that stuff in case people decide they want to do something stupid. So Jay Antoinette is here. Hello, hello. All right, first thing I want to do is show you Fox News. And we're not going to watch the entire Fox News thing. I actually only listened to the first 30 seconds of this, but I'm going to show you what this lady says here. And you all let me know if you hear what I hear. So let me pull this up on my end. And here we go. Listen to this lady's first 30 seconds.
Musk and Ramaswamy, Elon and Vivek, Doge is about to be unleashed. But not everybody is so jazzed over reining in government spending. Senator Elizabeth Warren, quick to diss the new agency, posting on X, quote, "The Office of Government Efficiency is off to a great start with split leadership, 2 people to do the work of 1 person. Yeah, this seems really efficient. Good burn there, Liz."
Let's bring a newly elected vice chairman of the Senate.
Who the hell wrote that monologue for her? Listen to this again. She's talking about diss. She's talking about jazz. Good burn, Liz. Does this lady look like somebody who would say the word diss? We're going to play this again. I think it's like 40 seconds because you all need to hear this again. I was like, who is Fox Business hiring? That she would actually use the term diss. Does this lady look like she would know the term diss? Let's listen to this again.
Musk and Ramaswamy, Elon and Vivek, Doge is about to be unleashed. But not everybody is so jazzed over reining in government spending.
Not everybody's so jazzed about reining in government spending. This is Fox Business. Who the hell wrote this?
Senator Elizabeth Warren, quick to diss the new agency, posting on X, quote,
"Quick to diss the new agency." Y'all know this lady. Where's this lady here? This lady did not write that monologue. She didn't write that monologue. Who wrote that for her? Hey, Victoria. Yes, I am freezing. Actually, it was snowing up here. Y'all know I'm in northern Maryland. It was snowing up here. So yeah, look, I have no interest in hearing what this lady has to say. We're going to read the article, but oh, ChatGPT wrote it for you? Yeah. So let's read the article though. I'm going to read a couple of different articles with regards to what they're talking about. So apparently, Musk and Ramaswamy lay out Doge vision in Wall Street Journal op-ed. Here are 5 takeaways. So this is the Department of Government Efficiency. And I've been following this story. I do live in the Metro DC area. The company that I work for, we work with a lot of people who work for the government.
Musk and Ramaswamy,
Girl,
Elon
shut
and Vivek.
up. We work with a lot of people who work for the federal government, or our government contractors, et cetera. So we're keeping an eye on it as a company. But let's read what Fox Business is saying about this. It's only been about a week since President-elect Trump officially tapped Elon Musk and Vivek to lead a Department of Government Efficiency to trim the bloat from the federal government when he returns to the White House. And the entrepreneurs are wasting no time determining how to make deep cuts. Musk and Ramaswamy penned an op-ed published in the Wall Street Journal on Wednesday, laying out their vision for Doge. Here are 5 key takeaways from the piece about how the agency will operate. Number 1, identifying what to cut. Musk and Ramaswamy noted they have already been working with the president transition team to, quote, hire a lean team of small government crusaders, including some of the sharpest technical and legal minds in America. This team will work in the new administration closely with the White House Office of Management and Budget, the billionaires who are volunteering their time to the project wrote. The two of us will advise Doge at every step to pursue 3 major kinds of reform: regulatory rescissions, administrative reductions, and cost savings. So I don't know if you all have ever tried to read the US budget, but it is a monster. It actually, I can never get like the budget just on one, like, in one place. So this is going to be interesting. Also, one of the things that I heard, and you all can let me know what you have been hearing, is that if they cut the government so much that it affects everyday people that are real Trump supporters, it may end up biting Trump in the butt. So we'll see what happens with regards to how much they're going to cut. One of the other things that I heard is that when Elon Musk got into, Twitter, he cut, I'm going to ask this since we got people in here. Do you all know what percentage of Twitter staff was cut when Elon Musk took it over? Does anybody know what percentage of Twitter staff was cut when Elon Musk took over? I'll give you all a chance to respond to that. What percentage of Twitter staff was cut when Elon Musk took over Twitter? Because these guys, Vivek, who's a business guy, Elon Musk, who's a business guy, they're both volunteering their time. Now they're volunteering their time to see what they can pull for themselves. I'm not an idiot, right? But do people know what percentage of Twitter staff, according to Elon Musk, he cut when he got into Twitter? Hey, Mentor Shelley, good to see you. Blossoming Bloom is saying they are trying to keep the young Gen Z male audience they caught during the election. Absolutely. You all are saying 50%, 60%, 40%. That is too low. 80% is correct. Lanice, you are right. J. Antoinette, even as much as 80%. He cut 80% of the Twitter staff. Do you think Elon Musk and Vivek can roll up into the federal government and cut 80%? Do you think Vivek and Elon Musk can roll up into the federal government and cut 60%? Do you think Vivek and Elon Musk can roll up into the government and cut 40%? I'll even ask you this question. Do you think Vivek and Elon Musk can roll up into the government and cut 20%? 20% of an $8 trillion budget is, what is that? 800 billion, 1.6 trillion. Do you think they could do that? I doubt it. Not only do I doubt it, this article is about to say it as well. They're not going to say it exactly as you and I are saying it, but they're saying it. They're saying it. Hello, Mrs. Calico. Yeah, 80%. He was bragging, 80%. And people were like complaining about Twitter at one point. Now, I don't know what's happening. I haven't been over in Twitter forever, but Twitter was never a place that I like to be on social media. So they never had me really. But yeah, 80%. 80%. You mess up Mrs. Jones's Social Security though, because you want to cut 80% of the staff over there. And look, JD Vance won't be the next president of the United States. I'll tell you that much. You said here, too much Twitter sucks now. It's glitchy. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that. Ms. Calico says, I think will backfire. Victoria's saying not even 5%. No. Okay, so let's keep reading this, because when I started reading through a couple of these articles, I was like, interesting. They're going to run into problems trying to cut the government budget. The first thing they should be cutting is the $845 billion that the Pentagon can't find. You'll notice in these articles, they don't mention the Pentagon. You'll see that what they want to slash, but let's keep going. Slashing regulations. The Doge leader said their decisions would be guided by the U.S. Constitution, as well as two Supreme Court decisions handed down during the Biden administration, which together suggest that a slew of federal regulations on the books actually exceed the authority of Congress has granted and should be scrapped. Okay? There's a slew of federal regulations on the books that will do that, right? Doge will work with legal experts embedded in government agencies aided by advanced technology to apply these rulings to federal regulations enacted by such agencies, the op-ed states. So if there is a regulation that can be taken, off the books by the agencies, and you have a person that is reviewing that regulation, then that person will be removed. But let's keep reading. Doge will present the list of regulations to President Trump, who can, by executive action, immediately pause the enforcement of those regulations and initiate the process for review and rescission. This would liberate individuals and businesses from illicit regulations never passed by Congress and stimulate the U.S. economy. So this is what they're saying here. Who knows? They'll give the list of stuff, but who knows ultimately what the president will choose to get rid of, what he'll keep, and more importantly, what they will try to get rid of and determine, oh, shoot, we should have kept this regulation, and they'll bring it back. So we'll see what happens there. Number 3, reducing the federal workforce. Musk and Ramaswamy say that with fewer regulations needed, agencies will not need as many federal employees, so many positions will be eliminated, and Doge aims to assist affected workers to find positions in the private sector. I've got 2 things to say about this. So, one thing, I'm going to give you a preview now with regards to the article that I found on CBS News. CBS News is saying out of an $8 trillion budget, they're targeting $500 billion in spending. $8 trillion budget, they're targeting $500 billion in spending. The money they can't find from the Pentagon is more than that. Okay. And this article is going to say where they say they're going to cut, right? So why am I showing you this? Because when we come back here to them reducing the federal workforce, okay, by the time they reduce regulations and they reduce some other things, I don't know how many people are actually going to be removed. If they're going to have the 50,000 people that they think in Project 2025 that they thought that they were going to be able to remove from the federal government. We'll see. Do you all think that the federal government is going to be able to fire and lay off 50,000 people ultimately? Put a 1 in the chat if you think the federal government and Doge is going to be able to successfully lay off and fire 50,000 government employees. Put a 2 in the chat if you're like, no, I don't think that's going to happen. 1 in the chat if you think it's going to happen. 2 if you're like, I don't think that's going to happen. They were overshooting. So we'll see. I'll let you all respond to this. cushy government jobs may get chopped. That's true. That's true. So you all are saying one here. You all are saying one. You think that they can get rid of the 50,000 jobs out of 2 million? I think it's 2 million people work for the government. Interesting. Okay. The other thing, and this is a very interesting thing for a mentor, Shelley. DOGE is going to assist affected workers to find positions in the private sector. How many people have ever experienced somebody who worked for the federal government in the past come and try to work in the private sector? How many people have ever experienced someone with a government job and how they work, period? What percentage of those government employees, especially the ones who have been in there 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and of course, I'm not saying all, not all, right? But I know a lot of government employees, and they aren't necessarily as ambitious and motivated. There are some, but not a lot. Not a lot, right? In my opinion. So it's going to be very interesting how two men who really don't care if these people get jobs or not, Musk and Ramaswamy, help move people from the federal government to the private sector. The only times that I see like people in the private sector really crave government employees is if they were military. Military, absolutely. But your run-of-the-mill person who works at, pick an agency, the Department of Indian Bureau Affairs, Department of Education, most of the departments out there, I don't know. Mentor Shelley is saying it. Their work ethic is not that great. Not only is their work ethic not that great, Mentor Shelley, unfortunately, a lot of private sector people know that their work ethic is not that great. So I'm always telling you to build your multicultural network, because these people who are going to be let go from the government, they're going to update their stuff in LinkedIn. They're going to be applying, and the AI may most likely, I'm going to say it, will kick them out. Oh, this person worked for the federal government. Oh no, they were let go from the federal government. And you think that people are going to train the AI to know if they were swept up in the federal government layoffs? That no, I don't think so. I don't think so. So it's saying here, DOGE intends to work with embedded appointees in agencies to identify the minimum number of employees required at an agency for it to perform its constitutionally permissible and statutorily mandated functions. Ladies, if you work in the federal government, if you know people who work in the federal government, this line here is saying a lot. Oops, the people who, where did it go? The people who will have some.
Musk and Ramaswamy, Elon and
Oh,
Vivek,
shut up.
DOGE is about to be unleashed.
Hold on, everybody.
But not
I don't know why this thing keeps turning on. Here, let's close this here. DOGE intends to work with embedded appointees in agencies to identify the minimum number of employees required at an agency for it to perform its constitutionally permissible and statutorily mandated functions. That means that if you are working on something that is not constitutionally permissible, meaning like mandated, or is not one of their pet projects, watch out. Watch out. Just like in the private sector. In the private sector, it is said that if you are working for a department that is not income producing or not very necessary for the company to function and stay afloat, you need to be looking for another job or you need to be building your network. If you're working on a project in a company or a department in a company that is losing money, as soon as the economy turns, these pet projects are the first ones to go. The same thing with the government. So Elon Musk and Vivek, they want to be able to come out, poke their chest out and say, we got rid of all of these people. We got rid of the government bloat, et cetera, et cetera. And I think they still want to make sure that they suck up to Trump enough where, they're not cutting people or things or government programs that enough people will miss. They're not going to touch Social Security. They're not going to touch Medicaid, Medicare. They may touch Medicaid, um, you know, but definitely not Social Security and definitely not Medicare, right? And enough people want the Department of Education gone. I've heard some other things that the Department of Education may not be abolished, but it may be reduced significantly. So, all right. Next thing here, saving taxpayer money. The Doge co-chiefs say they are focused on cutting government spending through their initiatives. They plan to take aim at billions in annual federal expenditures that are not authorized by Congress or being used in ways that Congress never intended. Again, people in the federal government, watch out. And the reason I want to show this article was because of this fifth thing. Vivek says, our top goal for Doge is to eliminate the need for our existence or its existence by July 4th, 2026. So basically, you got a year and a half to get your stuff together. This is the expiration date they have set for their project. So look, anybody in the federal government, you may have a year to a year and a half to get yourself together. Get on a call with Victoria, talk about your credit, talk about getting out of debt, talk about starting a business, get on the phone with a mentor, Shelley, update your resume, build your network, work with Notary World, get her book for $10, get yourself a notary stamp, start building up that business, become a loan signer, do something. Do something. If somebody lives in your house and they are a federal employee and they are not essential based on the Constitution or some statutory mandate, look, you better be moving, and you better move quick, because we had talked about it before here. The fact that federal government employees, and just government employees, period, have an awful reputation of not having a great work ethic. It is going to be vital for anybody in these positions to have a network. Mentor Shelley is saying, please update your resumes and network now before they start cutting jobs in the federal government. Absolutely. Update your LinkedIn, update your resume, network, start your business, whatever it is that you need to do. And also understand, just because you work for the state government, just because you work for the city, understand that as the federal government starts slashing its budget, which we'll see how much they end up slashing, but once they do that, you saw how quickly, for example, the mayor of New York cut off the illegal immigrants. They're going to start slashing programs. I've been saying for the past few years that I've been on here, the federal government is broke. The US government is broke. So if you got a state job, if you got a city job, I would be shoring up those networks as well. I would. Um, Blossoming Bloom is saying, I believe automation could replace some of these jobs. That's what they're saying as well. You got two tech guys in there. You got two tech guys in there that are going to try to figure out how they can get automation and AI to also assist with some of these jobs. Um, you're saying, I work at a state university and I know automation can replace 50% of the lower wage workers. And who most likely have the lower wage jobs in the federal government? A lot of these government jobs are sorting paperwork. Yep, it's true. It's true. People better get ready. Don't get caught flat-footed like my grandmother used to say. So this is the second article, and this article had some other things in here that I thought were interesting about what they're doing. They got $500 billion that they're looking at just as a starting point. So we're not going to read through all of this, but I wanted to show you, let's see here. While Musk and Ramaswamy said they expect to prevail in cutting costs, there have been plenty of examples throughout the decades of efforts aimed at reining in federal spending, which have had only limited results. For example, President Reagan in the 1980s tapped businessman J. Peter Grace to recommend reforms, resulting in about 2,500 recommendations for cutting spending, most of which were never implemented. So, look, there is a chance that a lot of things would never be implemented. But here's the one thing that Reagan and this J. Peter Grace did not have, and that is social media. That is a whole bunch of MAGA people saying, you promised us you were going to reduce the federal budget. We have too much debt and it's too much, right? So Musk had, of course, suggested slicing $2 trillion. He pulled that number out of his ass. So, but this is what he said, suggested slicing $2 trillion in annual federal spending, an amount experts say is unrealistic given that most of the nation's $6.7 trillion in yearly outlays is spent on Social Security, Medicare, and the military. So Elon Musk ain't going to get $2 trillion. You want to know why Elon Musk is not going to be able to cut $2 trillion? Because the minute he cuts Social Security, the Democrats are going to run on what? Donald Trump put Elon Musk in there to cut your Social Security. The minute they cut Medicare, the Democrats are going to run on what? Donald Trump put Elon Musk in there and he cut your Medicare. The minute they cut the military, well, look, Donald Trump ain't cutting the military. But they're going to run on what? The Democrats going to run on what? We thought that the Republicans cared about the military and wanted us to have a strong defense. And look what happened. So no. What's going to get cut, most likely, ladies, is jobs. Yes. Not to the tune of $2 trillion, but jobs and some other programs that people care less about. So, where will their spending cuts come from? 2/3 of federal spending is mandatory, ladies. 2/3 of federal spending is mandatory through programs including Social Security and Medicare, while discretionary spending is largely spent on defense. So when Elon Musk pulled the $2 trillion out of his ass, he didn't know what he was talking about. Okay? So there are a lot of things that cannot be cut. People can be cut, but these programs still have to be here. A lot of them, not all. But they do have a couple of places in here. I thought this was interesting. They listed the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which receives $535 million a year. So they're going to look at cutting some PBS. International organizations received $1.5 billion in grants, and Planned Parenthood and what they describe as progressive groups that receive $300 million a year. This is hardly no money within the budget. I'm going to say it again. You notice they ain't going after the Pentagon. They aren't going after the Pentagon yet that we can tell, right? So, which federal programs don't have authorization? The programs mentioned by Musk and Ramaswamy are relatively tiny compared with other areas that are unauthorized, such as veterans' health. They ain't cutting veterans' health. The VA already has issues. They say here the next biggest source of expired authorizations after veterans' health care include programs that invest in opioid treatment, the State Department, and housing assistance. Put a 3 in the chat if you think that they would mess with housing assistance. Put a 4 in the chat if you're like, no, I think that they would keep it. Put a 3 in the chat if you think they would cut housing assistance. Put a 4 in the chat if you think, no, they're going to leave housing assistance the way that it is. And everybody like the video, please. Like the video. I'm still getting over my cold, so put a 3 in the chat if you think they would cut off housing assistance. Put a 4 in the chat if you're like, no, they're going to keep it as it is. You all are starting to say 3, 3, 3. Anybody who is on housing assistance, watch out. They call this entitlement programs. And Trump and his minions are absolutely the ones to cut entitlement programs. Get your skills together. And also understand this. Watch what's around you, because I want to say crime is going to go up. I'm hoping that the administrations will also buckle down on crime as well. But people are going to start getting desperate. You all are saying 3. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's just been all week. I've been dealing with this. You're saying it depends. They may shift it to some states and not others. But look, yeah. They're slashing everything they can. Yes, they can. They are. But here's the thing. They have to slash and also think about like, hey, we don't want to do things that's going to piss off the MAGA base, right? So they're not going to slash veterans' health care. They're just not going to do that. That's not smart of them to do, right? They're not going to slash certain other programs, Social Security, Medicare, etc. They absolutely will cut housing assistance. They will. Or what they'll say is, hey, we've got a 10-year plan, and every year we're not going to do any cost of living adjustments. We're going to start reducing. And they've already started doing this. They've started reducing housing assistance. They would reduce some of the State Department. Yes, absolutely. They're also saying here some smaller programs with expired funding, including Head Start, NASA, and the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA. NOAA deals with climate change. The latter provides weather forecasts, severe storm warnings, and climate monitoring. They're obviously not going to totally get rid of like being able to do severe storm warnings, but a lot of climate monitoring, climate change is going to go as well. But this one here, Head Start, the father of your children, is the most important financial decision you will ever make. I keep telling you ladies that. Do not get pregnant, do not get pregnant, do not get pregnant unless you can properly educate your own children, even if you have to homeschool them. These people are not playing. And yeah, the Democrats will run their mouths and say, yeah, the Republicans got rid of Head Start. The average voter out there probably won't care. They probably won't care. So we have to be on our P's and Q's with regards to this. According to Project 2025, the conservative blueprint that was developed by the Heritage Foundation to guide the next conservative White House, the NOAA should be dismantled and many of its functions eliminated. Programs with expired funding in 2024. The federal government last year spent about $516 billion on programs whose congressional authorization has expired. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy say they want to cut unauthorized spending through their Department of Government Efficiency. That's where they got the $500 billion from. But do we honestly think they're going to cut $119 billion from veterans' health care? If they do that, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked. Or to take away the $119 billion and not put it someplace else in the VA. I'll be shocked. Opioid treatment, $48 billion. State Department, Foreign Affairs, $38 billion. Housing assistance, $37 billion. This is again money they're saying that is doesn't need to be spent, unauthorized spending, right? DV, Justice Department, DV, $35 billion. If you're with some man that's knocking you across the head, ladies, this is probably going to get slashed. Education Department, K-12 funding, $29 billion. NASA, healthcare and student loan programs, international security programs, Head Start is $12 billion, national defense programs, workforce development, childcare funding, higher education funding, state housing programs, Helping Families Save Their Home Act, other spending including water infrastructure and healthcare. All of these numbers are in the billions, right? So yeah, look, it's about to be real out here. It's about to be real out here. So I'm going to read some of your comments here, and if anybody wants to come up, you can put a 7 in the chat. I have a few minutes this evening. So if you want to come up, you have something to say about this, put a 7 in the chat. Victoria's saying my mom left the government for the private sector in the 90s. She had to make it work. I think she was a little different, aka motivated. You have to be. You have to be. I'm so sorry, all the women that work for DFACS and the DMV won't find jobs in the private sector. It's the truth. It's the truth. Unless they have a network and that network knows that they are a good employee, if they're just blindly sending out resumes, I don't know what to tell them except listen to me and start networking. I don't think they will be able to do half of what they said. It's going to be a fight. They might be able to get the $500 million, but here's the thing. The federal government budget is $8 trillion. They sure as heck can't do $2 trillion. They can't do $2 trillion. So let's see what you all saying here. And I'll say this, get on it fast. I've been doing consultations with folks from other backgrounds and cultural groups. They are preparing. Absolutely. Which is why I'm here to tell you, you should be preparing. You should absolutely be preparing for this. Even if you work in the private sector, you need to be preparing because stuff is about to shift. You know it's real. They come into little old you for advice. Come on, Victoria. You are the woman. You know that. You know that. Crime will go up if no one has anything. That's the truth. Get your pew-pews together as well. They will. I have over 15 years in that industry, and yes, HUD is currently implementing new steps to capture overpaid subsidies. Yep, absolutely. But people have been warning about programs getting cut for years. Preparation should have been done. I agree, but we're just telling people today. We're telling people today, dawn to earth, that if you aren't ready, Get ready, get out there. Like if I were a federal government employee and I had a hint of an inkling that my job might be cut, I would be out 2, 3 days a week. I would be calling everybody that I know. I would be investing in a new certification, like shoot. Because basically, they're going to have this Department of Government Efficiency until they're saying July 4th, 2026, you know, and who knows by that time they may be, that may be the date that they give President Trump the list of things that could be cut. If you want to know between you and I think Project 2025 already has the list of who they're going to cut, where they're going to cut. I think you can't tell me that Project 2025 wrote a 900-page plan and they don't have a list already. These people had a 900-page plan. They had a website for people who were Trump loyalists, but they ain't got a list of who they're going to cut. Shoot. I would be out networking now, right? They have lost hundreds of millions of dollars in the last 10 years due to fraud. Yeah. Which will be interesting to see, Dr. Oz, over Medicare or Medicaid funding. So the Section 8 millionaires, yep. But there are also white people in housing assistance and EBT. Yeah. But here's the thing. So they can't discriminate openly. However, are there ways for them to discriminate? Or will there be enough people in the electorate that says, we wanted all the social welfare programs cut, and we're okay with it, and they would still vote for Trump anyway. Taking away Head Start, when there is a whole literacy gap, yeah, you are responsible, not you, Purple Rain, but you're responsible for raising your own kids, teaching your own kids how to read, write, count, think, strategize, etc. Yeah, they're taking away Head Start. They are. They don't care. If your kid is in the permanent underclass, they do not care. They don't care. So, I don't think that I would say, nor do I not want them to, but I don't expect them to. They're slowly phasing out older rental assistance programs and leaving it to the states and local governments to handle it. Yeah. But usually a lot of those rental assistance programs will still have federal money coming into it in order to support it. So I don't see anybody putting a 7 in here, so nobody wants to come up and chat about it. Okay. Just want to be sure. If you want to come chat about this topic, I've got a little bit more time. You put a 7 in the chat and I will drop the link for anybody. Hit the like button as well, ladies. Hit the like button. However, a good portion of housing assistance goes to senior citizens, so the programs are going to get cut for the young, yes, and able-bodied folks taking advantage of them, yes. And I'm fine with that. Just be honest with you, I'm fine with it. They also said they want to get rid of OSHA. So yeah, and I hope they don't get rid of OSHA completely, because there were good policies initially from OSHA to protect workers on manufacturing floors, especially because they want to bring manufacturing back to the United States. So we'll see what happens there. So I wouldn't be surprised, because the VA systems are so bad and there are so many homeless veterans. I agree. The only thing I could think of with the VA is if they tried to privatize the VA, which, we'll see what happens there. Government workforce development is literally a scam. They have an apprenticeship website that hasn't been updated in years. Well, look, they're going to have to give that money back then. How much did they have for the, let's see here. I want to look at this again. since Purple Rain mentioned it. The workforce assistance, where is that? Workforce development is $10 billion a year, Purple Rain. $10 billion a year. So yeah, look, we'll see what happens with that. Um, Crime will go up. Yes, it will. The case will be made for harsher penalties. The public will want it. Yes, they already want it. California is saying they want harsher penalties on theft. So, yes, everybody is sick of the crime. There will be less social programs and they'll need more private prisons as a cycle, all by design. So, we haven't talked on about money and investing, but I know a whole lot of Black women that are investing in private prisons. And I also know that there are some Black women who are like, I'm not investing in private prisons because the Black men are going to jail and blah, blah, blah. But I know quite a few who are like, nope, that's what I'm adding. I'm adding anything for the police, like their body guard, their body armor and things like that. And and investing in public prisons. I do know some. So the government sector only pays up to a certain level. The president makes six figures and everyone else is making less. Yeah, those government contractors, they can make really good money. Heaven help if you need social services. It's about to get real dark. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Hey, Denise, how you doing? The reputation of government employees are seen as somewhat lazy and entitled. Those government employees will absolutely need to differentiate themselves from that negative reputation. Yes, they will. Let's just see if anybody put a 7 in. Okay, nobody wants to come up. All right, I'm going to read the rest of these comments and we're going to head on out. Just want to make sure nobody wants to come up. So you can earn over 100,000 annual income and be in Section 8 housing. LOL, there are so many legal ways to use that system. If you make $100,000, you should not be on Section 8, no matter where you live, even if you live in New York or Los Angeles. So a lot of these businessmen make money from government programs. They will only eliminate so much. We'll see what happens, Definitely we'll see what happens. I think they can only eliminate so much. That's why they started out with 500 million, because 500 million is a realistic target. But 500 million out of an $8 trillion budget is not like them going into a private company and slashing, 50% of the workforce. So we'll see what happens. They're cutting the EEOC too. No more discrimination talk. No more discrimination talk. No more DEI. You all, if you've been on this channel, I was preaching 2 years ago, get out of DEI. If somebody asks you, do you want to be on the DEI task force at work? Say no. That's not the kind of promotable task you do, right? We've been saying this. I've been saying it. I believe Erica's been saying it, Erica Williams. We've been saying it for a couple of years now. So, nope, no more EEOC, which is why you need to be very cautious and careful with regards to the kind of work environments that you're going into. And you need to have so much of a great network that when people start talking crazy to you, you could pick up your purse and you can have another job tomorrow. Or they start talking crazy to you, you've got so much of a network that you start picking up the phone, you start DMing people, and somebody else will snap you up right away. That is the only way to protect yourself from this. Because we're not going to be able to go to the EEOC anymore. Or if we can go, it may take years and years for your case to be resolved. I'm a pick up my purse and go person. But I have to have a network for that. You have to have a network in order to do that. You have to have top tier skills in order to do that. I told you before, you have to be that chick. They need to know that you are that chick in the interview, and they need to know that you are that chick the whole time that you're working there. That if you talk to me crazy, I got plenty of places I could go work. I do not need this job. That doesn't mean they won't test you. That doesn't mean that some of you may not end up someplace where they still talk to you crazy. That's not what I'm saying. But most likely, if they know that you're that chick that can go someplace else and they really, really need you, they're less likely to cause a problem. So I wonder if it would be a good time for federal employees to pivot to other agencies having to do with counterintelligence if they could get in. And just make sure whatever program that they're assigned to is still mandated by Congress. So I'm eating. I so want to come up though. You should come up, Victoria. You should come up. You should. I'm going to drop the link for you just in case. I'm going to drop the link for anybody who wants to come up. So Mr. Shelley saying her environment is noisy. Roger's here. Get the chopping block. We are 36 trillion in debt. Well, Roger wants an 80% cut. 6,000 people, bye-bye. We can do it for less. So Roger is looking to get people out of the way. And a lot of those people would be Black people and Black women. So, anyway. Mary is saying OSHA-related businesses are thriving in the Midwest because of lead abatement in residential and commercial buildings. I can see that. Piper is saying they won't cut housing much. They say that all the time, but Trump and other Republicans have funded housing more than Democrats. Obama cut housing. That's interesting. They're going to want to cut something. It'll be very interesting if at the end of this year and a half with Vivek and Elon, if they only cut $100 million out of the budget. I guess they would say, hey, we cut some money. It's a win. But, billion-dollar prisons are already underway. Georgia was one of the states approved for it. Yeah. Jay-Z invests in private prisons. I will say this. Jay-Z is smart. The man is smart. So private prison stock has been doing well. It's going to continue to do well. People are sick of the crime. So I would not be surprised if stop and frisk doesn't come back. I would not be surprised if stop and frisk comes back. I wouldn't be surprised at all. They will be giving block grants for Medicaid and housing. Gavin Newsom was just in D.C. talking about advanced funding for social services for the next 4 years. I've heard Gavin Newsom is a joke, but okay. All right. They want to get rid of the ACA, so we'll see what happens with that. You can also have a crap ton of assets and real property until next year. The gravy train is over. Trump already verified that Medicaid will be block granted. A DEI task force? I would never, girl. We've been saying it on this channel forever. No. Sometimes we got to resist the urge to be typical at work. That's the truth. I wonder how the HBCUs are going to function. I have heard that there are some of the states that are withholding HBCU money or not giving them all of their funding. So that money flows from the federal government to the states to the HBCUs. And if the states decide they want to get funky, then, so we'll see what happens. Hey, ladies. Hey, baby girl T. Weapons manufacturer stops are doing well as well. Yeah, I would believe that. They just had that thing, that audit of the Pentagon saying they can't find $840 billion. Yet, when Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy put their op-ed together, you know what they did not mention they were cutting? The Pentagon budget. They didn't say that at all. They said maybe it's going to be, NOAA, and we're going to look at the public broadcasting, and we're going to look at Head Start, and we're going to look. But you know what they did not say? They did not say they're touching one bit of the Department of Defense. Not one bit of the Pentagon budget is not happening. So, yeah, look, if you're going to buy weapons manufacturer stocks, you might as well. Anybody who's doing business with the DoD. So, there is also rampant fraud among HBCUs within themselves. This is true. The DOC will be fine. The DoD will be fine. Sorry. Yes. The Department of Defense will be fine. National security people will be fine. Who knows what's going to happen at the Department of Justice? But yeah, and you know who's going to get more money is ICE. Anything to do with immigration and getting people out who should not be here, I would bet they're going to get more money. Yeah, college students everywhere are protesting the DoD and defense manufacturers. Nobody cares about college students protesting. They don't vote. Not as much as older people do. So, so yeah. All right, ladies. Well, nobody want to come up and join me, but that's okay. I am going to go nurse my cold. But yeah, look, we gave you some strategies. It's the same stuff I say over and over again. I feel like a broken record, and yet, oh, you're turning your cam on? Well, I'm not cammed up, Victoria, but you can come on if you want to. I give you the same advice all the time. I am a broken record because I truly believe that the path to financial success is your technical skills, getting to the top 10% of your technical skills, your soft skills, your multicultural networks, and making sure you have the resources together so that you can make a move when and if you need and want to. So I wish I had more original stuff to say every time I came on, but I don't. I live what I talk about. I did a video earlier this week. I was tired as I don't know what on Wednesday, but you know what? It was my monthly time to go to the Harford County Chamber of Commerce, and I got myself dressed. I went. I saw a lot of people I see all the time. I want my network set up so that if something crazy happens where I currently work, which I don't think it will, I have a very good work environment, but just in case, your girl's got other people to talk to. Other people, I could pick up the phone and get a job someplace else tomorrow. I've got about 5, 6 people already I know I could get a job someplace tomorrow. And you know who knows that? My boss. I don't put it in his face and all of that, but he knows I go out and network. He knows that I know a lot of people, things like that. So, yeah, thanks, Fresh Progress. You missed me? Thank you. Thank you. Look, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I want to come and speak with you ladies, but if I don't see something interesting that I want to talk about or that I think I can add something to, I'm just like, I will wait for a good story. I do have a couple of good stories. We'll probably do a money chat because there were a couple of really good articles that I have seen recently. But yeah, but thank you so much. I want to make sure that I'm providing really good live streams for you and not just talking just because. So, you're trying to pivot your career to a career in privacy. First of all, down to earth, we take out the word try. So, your statement is, I'm pivoting to a career in privacy. I'm pivoting to a career in privacy. And then great, you work on what you need to work on in order to get there. You could absolutely do it. I pivoted 2 years ago from being a business plan writer to being a loan officer. And 2025 is going to be my best year yet. So you can absolutely do it. Mentor Shelley said, I saw that video, Cherie, keep networking. Yes, I want you all to know I actually live and practice what I preach, which is also the reason why you don't see me on YouTube all the time. Like, I actually have a life and clients and stuff to do. So, uh, yeah, so another panel with Mokomami. I'm going to reach out to Mokomami because she's usually my end of the year guest for like the end of the year review. So I'm going to reach out to her and see if she is able to come on for our end of the year review, which 2024 was just the year of, I don't know what. So, hey, Sammy, you'll catch the replay. Good. All right, Miss Victoria, what's going on, girl?
I mean, not a whole lot. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Listen, y'all. The economy sucks. I just got a text message from somebody that's trying to give me a free chicken. So as soon as I click off of here with you, girl, I'm going to get my chicken.
You go and get some free chicken?
Yeah, because this person said that actually I could tell you a little bit about it. I was gonna tell you offline, but somebody proposed that I be their program director for their nonprofit out here in the area. I am about to
Uh-huh.
be networking my tail off, meeting people, talking about my credit repair company, talking about my debt elimination strategy. Girl, about to put these heels on and this dress and be gone. I'm about to get paid, baby.
You go, girl.
I
You
thought about it.
go.
I was so not about to do it, but I was like, you know what? I've been looking for a networking opportunity out here, and that is gonna be it. So I'm like, yes, sign me up, brother. We'll be doing.
Good for
Um,
you.
yeah, and this person's literally leaving the whole thing. I'm not gonna say the whole thing because I got like
Mhm.
a couple of people I can like bounce off of that are like affiliated with banks and all kinds of stuff out here. I'm like, girl, I'm
Oh,
doing
you're gonna
it.
be networking with money. I love it.
Had one of them on the phone already, and she's girl, she like an old black lady too. Look, I can speak freely over here. This ain't my
Of
channel.
course.
Um, but no, she's an old black lady from the school system and everything. So I've been doing my research this week, kind of asking people, how's the east side versus the west side, the north side versus the south side. Virginia is a mess out here, y'all. Like economically, everybody's separated and they all judge each other accordingly. And like that old good old boys club, that is alive and well here. And it shows in the school system. So
Of course.
yeah, so I'm like, look, let me put my little heels on and get out here with these bankers and stuff. You know,
Yes, you got to be with money. You got to be where money is flowing.
girl,
Like this is another thing. We're not networking with broke people. You know, we networking
listen.
with people with some coins, some money, or the people who have direct access to the people with money.
Yeah.
Um, so so I used to belong to this group of like military officers, even though I was never a military officer, but I
Mhm.
belonged to the group. They let me join, and one of the guys was an admiral,
Mhm.
and he's retired now. And I, called him yesterday because of everything that's happened with Doge and all of
Mhm.
that. And he had been telling us I've known him for about 7, 8 years. He was telling this group of military officers, stop going after government contracts and get into the private sector, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I reached out to him yesterday and I'm like, hey, you've been telling us this and it's coming to fruition. And are you getting a lot of phone calls? And he's like, yeah, I was on the phone with the mayor of, I'll tell you
Right,
which
like don't
city.
tell all his
I'm
business.
not going to tell all his business, but
Right.
the mayor of a major city.
Mhm.
And he's like talking casually, like this guy is so hooked
I
up,
love
so
it.
connected. Like if I wanted a meeting with, President Biden, I probably could get it because of the people I know in this group.
I love
But
it.
but here's the thing, you have to like I was in that group literally going every single month for 5 years.
Mhm.
It's not something you build overnight because they saw people come and go and come and go.
Yep.
I went there for 5 years. I got involved. I took a leadership position, all of that. This is all the stuff that I talk to, the community about, the Black women on this channel. But once you
Mhm.
get there,
Right.
once you're in, like I haven't been since 2018. Yet I could still call this guy today or yesterday, and he called me back same day.
Mhm.
And he wasn't like, Cherie, who? I don't remember you. He was like, hey, Cherie, how you doing? Oh my, so yeah, but that takes like planting seeds, And yeah, a lot of
Absolutely.
people are broke,
You
but
ain't lying.
they're broke because they have no skills and no networks. And the truth is you need both.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely need networks. And that's the reason that I took this opportunity, because I was talking to Shelly about it the other day. And
Hmm.
I was telling her that, and actually, sure, I was gonna hit you up because this man needs some grant writers, okay, girlfriend? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to pay her to do this, and I don't think he ready to pay. Girl, I don't think he
Oh,
gonna pay.
I stopped writing rants a couple of years ago.
I know, because I was like, okay, we're gonna have to offer her an extremely high amount of money, and I don't know if this brother ready to do that because he'd have to come out of pocket. But the potential for the program I can see is pretty huge. But
Hmm.
there's so many. The reason I bring that up is because when you said the thing about the guy remembering you, that's a
Hmm.
big deal. And I think as upwardly mobile Black women, we need to start taking advantage of that because
Hmm.
we are, despite what society may tell us, we're very intriguing when we walk into a room, specifically, and we're memorable if you are not typical, right? I would not go in there pumping my fist, doing all this. Don't
Nope.
do that. Don't do that when you walk in the
Not
room.
even, not even. So this group happened to be a group of Black military officers, and I still never
Hmm.
went in pumping my
No.
fists. I still never went in social justice warrior. None of that. No.
Don't do it, especially with military people, because number one, I would say, well, just as an example, military folk, that's the American people. You are not Black, you are not white, you are not any of that. You are an American when you walk into that meeting. You are here to protect the American people, regardless of race, color, or creed, baby. You gotta start getting into that idea. Be who you are when you go home at night, or once you get in the car, let your fro, puff out, do whatever you got to do. But in some of these areas, it's better to just be colorless. And that is what I will be in these rooms. And when I have to, promote the urban youth, I'll put a little twang in my voice if I have to relate to certain groups. But, I'm going to learn a lot in these next few months. And, that's just what I see coming. So I think, in that respect, I can see why you would get pretty far there because again, you have to read the room, and know where you are. Be able to code switch. And I think that's one thing as Black women that we can master. And I think it will stand out even more with us and be a powerful weapon. And yes, I said it's a weapon, right? Because they don't realize that it is. Other people don't know that we're weaponizing our chameleon like abilities. I hope I'm making sense here.
We're gonna do a whole stream on code switching because
Okay, because I'm like,
do
yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with code switching.
Not
Now,
at all. Everybody
code
does it.
switching, code switching is not being fake. There's a difference. But I want to
No.
do a whole discussion about that because um, I do think successful, upwardly mobile Black women do code switch. We read the room, like you said.
Yeah,
And
you have to.
there are people who are less successful than you. And I
Hmm.
say you, I don't mean you. I'm just saying
Just the collective. I know
overall,
what you mean.
the collective you that will crap on you for code switching. Yet when you look at their lives, part of the reason why they're not where they could be is because they don't code switch. So yeah, we're gonna do a whole show on code
Oh my
switching.
God.
We are
We
because
have to.
sometimes the reason why again people are not successful, and there I might just be messy and we might
Be
just show
messy. It's
some.
Friday.
No. I meant on that
Oh,
specific show we might be messy as well. But there's this
okay.
woman on she's on Roland Martin and she's also on Clay Kane's show, the
Hmm.
politics shows, named Reese Colbert.
Hmm.
And as much as I want to like her, it's just too much teeth smacking,
Yeah.
unprofessional. Even when she tries to be professional, it just doesn't work. And I just can see like, you might get in some rooms, but you're not getting into the really good rooms, you know.
Yeah.
So it depends on how messy I want to be on the day that we talk code switching, but I might bring in some videos of women who look upwardly mobile, but the minute they open up their mouth or they, they their gestures don't show that they
Hmm.
really know how to code switch. And
Yeah.
we talked before about corporate culture. Mentor Shelley is ready for that show. Yeah, we'll do it at some point,
For sure.
soon, because these are the kind of conversations that I love to have with our network here.
Yeah.
It's, Black women making money could be about stock investing and all of that, but I don't think that's what's needed or what's going to make us super successful. Um, and I also think, like, Diamond Dave and other people do a better job of talking about those things than I do. I think what makes us successful over here is like, how do we navigate these systems so that we
Yeah.
could end up on top, you know?
And I think you should have a balance of being in the system as well as creating your own ecosystem. Because
Yeah.
it boggles my mind every now and then that I am every day creating my own ecosystem. Because even when I get on camera with some of the people I do consultations with, like, girl, I'm gonna have to talk to you offline. But I had one, I texted Mentor Shelley about it yesterday. Girl, I'm gonna just say this because I doubt he's watching. But listen, I'm gonna just say this: a person of a certain culture
Hmm.
that had, we'll say, curly sideburns, if you catch my
Okay.
drift.
I get it.
Would you ever think one of them would be booking a black girl to talk about their credit and their finances when they keep everything in their community hush hush?
The only reason that I would say not a Black girl, but a person
Okay, because I
outside
was
of their
like,
no, 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 but a person outside of their community,
yeah,
yes, because it's very embarrassing for them inside of their community. Do
that
I think
part.
that do I think that they would book a Black girl?
Well, we'll say
I
woman,
I would
okay?
say,
I say
okay.
black girl, but I'm a
A
black
Black
woman,
girl,
y'all,
Black
okay?
woman. The only other reason I would say no to that is because when I was a business plan writer, I was
Mm,
shocked at who would come into my office
there you
wanting
go.
to work with me and pay me big bucks.
Hmm.
Asian people, Southeast, all the people you hear are anti-Black, they have been in my office writing a check. So I'm
Okay.
not surprised by anybody that would
Girl.
hire Victoria to help with credit and debt consulting.
Listen,
I'm
I
not.
thought Shuri, when I saw the name, and that's why I
Mhm.
didn't simulcast this to my audience, because look, I'm trying to get in that network over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, no, no,
But
no.
look, I know what I told him. Look, I need this review. Leave out whatever you need to leave out, sir. But did I help you today? Girl, he was ecstatic. So, and it was so funny because there are cultural differences, y'all. And that's why I think the code switching show is going to be great, because
Mhm,
maybe I'll talk about it more there. But like, I was even asking him about the culture and everything, because I said, does anybody like, does your wife or does your community know that we're having this conversation, or that you're looking to solve XYZ? And he's like, no. He said, no, I want to keep this. No. And I said, okay. And he explained to me some nuances and things in that community, because
mhm.
I was so shocked. These are people, y'all. I'm from LA. Those people will just say hi to you and move on. They don't be
They
trying to
will.
converse with you. They don't be
Mhm.
they have their own tight knit communities. So that, if anything, that was a testament to me that what I'm doing is absolutely correct, and I need to keep pushing in that direction, and that code switching is a viable skill. You better learn how to do it, because you never know where your next come up is going to be. And if he was that impressed with my services, do you think that there are not 10 million people just like him in that same community? I
Yeah,
can
now
have me a
he'll
whole little underground network of them, okay? And then
you
that
could.
that is a group you want to be affiliated with. That's all I'm gonna say, and be quiet about it.
A lot of them do have money. So Mentor Shelley said, everybody's money is green. I don't care as long as I provide them awesome services and as long as they're respectful to me. Now, there was one of them I
That's
had to
it.
put out of my office because she was just she talked to me like she was, you know, on
Sh-
something.
She forgot what
But
time it was. That's all. She forgot what
yeah,
time it
she
was.
did. She did. And
Yeah.
I politely explained to her that I'm not the one, and
Hmm.
I didn't care how much she was paying me. But
Yeah.
guess what? In order to do that, you have to have your marketing in place and enough, prospects and clients to be able to do that as well. But yes, absolutely, everybody's money is green, and
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. People just want to be served, in the appropriate way. So,
Facts.
yeah,
So yeah, let's
yeah.
not get too tied up in our
Hmm.
identity, so to speak. It's like you're okay. The thing is here, because of our striking appearance, number one. I mean, think about it. Our hair don't act like everybody else's. Our skin does not look like everybody else's. We already are that. Like just walking in a room and looking like you do not have to put on anything extra and like, be pro black. You already look pro black because your skin is brown. So
Certainly
relax
do.
on that. Relax
Certainly
on
do.
that. You know what I'm saying? You walk
Hmm.
into a room with a fro versus a straight weave, you already are making a statement, baby. You ain't got to say nothing else. Your only job is to go with your objective and get something done. And
Hmm.
like I said, yesterday I was thrown for a loop because I was like, whoa, I did not expect one of y'all from the community to come up in here. What is the tea, brother? Talk to me. Because, girl, I swear, I was like, ooh, I got to know because this is amazing. And it spoke to me and it said, you know what, Vic? You have to keep pushing because sometimes I'm looking at the wrong audience to have my back
Hmm.
when it's other people that have
Hmm.
been watching me or looking at me from afar. And I'm gonna tell you, the ones that are outside of your typical group, and I'm speaking to everybody, whatever your group is, they will go like when they see a service and they feel like it will solve their problem and you have the answer, they will not think twice about booking that call or
Sure.
buying your service or using your expertise. Like that was something that had to be reiterated to me yesterday. So, yes, y'all, let's all be black, but our skin already says that we're pro black. So you ain't got to do all that. Just focus on your skill and ability and your little flavor that you have and you'll be fine.
Hmm.
Yesterday was proof to me. Every now and then I get a client, I'll be like, "Oh my god. Okay, thank you God. You showed me. You told me. I get it. I get it." So,
It's actually sometimes easier to get the multicultural clients. I go networking on
yeah.
most Thursdays. There's a group that meets up the street from me, and there's this guy. I call him Joey the Italian. His name is Joey, and he is Italian, right? And you can just
Right.
imagine like what he looks like, right?
Mhm.
And, but like he and I are like best buds at the networking event. Like I could call Joey and say, Joey, I need XYZ. He's like, I
Yeah.
got you, no problem, right?
Right.
So yeah, but code switching is an important thing. So we're definitely going to have that conversation. There are different things that I would want to talk about
Yeah.
within that subject, but I think that is an important topic for us to definitely chat about.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
But I only had an opinion about the housing thing. So,
Go ahead.
the other stuff, I'm like, yo, I'm not I'm like, I don't delve into those programs, so I don't know. But the housing thing, I will say this: it is changing 1,000 times over because even HUD is now doing an overhaul of the traditional Section 8 and the requirements and stuff. So look out for something that's called HOTMA. It's HOTMA. So they're kind of changing how they are qualifying people and all kinds of stuff, right? The rules are not quite as stringent, but they are kind of moving some things around where you have to maybe make less money to qualify, or for write-offs and stuff, you have to have more expenses to actually write off versus what it typically was. I think it's like 3% of your gross annual income, and you can start to lower your rent. But there's like a lot of different programs that so many people don't know about. Like Section 8 is the biggest one and it's the most popular. I don't believe that Black people are the majority that are on it, just based off of all the work that I've done over the last 15 years. It's not us, it's other groups. So I think that if you go into your communities, what you'll see is that affordable housing and not Section 8, but there's new programs that tax credit is one of the big ones that's out right now. But they're actually paying owners to purchase old properties, refurbish them, do whatever, and they're receiving tax credits to do so as long as they keep the rents affordable. So right now, I believe it's becoming an investor's market more than anything. So that
That's true.
could be, yeah, that could be why you're seeing the change, because as the 40 and 30-year-old Section 8 contracts are expiring, properties are now cutting those programs altogether and they're jumping over to tax credit because it's a very quick way to get your entire property refurbished, rebuilt, remodeled, everything updated so you can charge those high ass rents. But if you invest in this tax credit program, you got to do it for a few years and then you can either keep going or you can go back to market rent. So it's a very kind of a long game to be able to get everything done, get everything fixed on your local government's dime, or you work with the IRS. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot of layers to it, but that's why Section 8 is being phased out. So I understand what Elon is doing because I think they're kind of wanting, well, I know Elon's doing it to have an advantage of some sort because say this doesn't work out, he's still a private company man, if that makes sense. So, what is stopping Elon from working with Russia or working with China or working with another country if it doesn't work out with America? Elon doesn't care either way. He's gonna, because he has enough, I think, business wise and with the SpaceX and all that other crap. He's got enough that any government is going to use him as an asset. So sorry, y'all. I bounced around from housing to this, but I can see what he's doing. I can only speak to the housing aspect of it, but as far as the other stuff, that's what I think he's working on. It's like either the US wants him or he'll pull all his business out and go elsewhere. The dude is already going to outer space. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? So I feel
Yeah,
like this is a power
yeah.
play on his end.
So, I pulled up the demographics as much as you could believe this, and 33% of Section 8 residents are Black,
Hmm.
49% are white, and 13% are Hispanic. Here's
Hmm.
the problem that we have, Victoria. It's
Mm.
that we are 13 to 14% of the population, yet we're 33% of the Section 8 residents.
True.
So, even though 49% being white may be a higher number of people is in relation to the percentage per
Hmm.
capita, unfortunately, Black people, and it's mostly Black single mothers, most likely, that is in this amount.
Yep.
We do over index on as Section 8 residents. And if they, again, I'm also thinking about perception as well with regards to what the the political commercials will say in the next 2 to 4 years if
Hmm.
it's we slash Section 8 and people are seeing, oh, it's not white people or it's not even the 13% of Hispanic people that receive the majority of that reduction. It's
Mm.
Black people who were over indexed. They're not going to have a problem with that. So, I know, no,
Hey,
I'm being serious. This is harsh, but we're having a real conversation here.
nah,
Um,
I mean, it is real.
yeah, yeah.
Nah,
So,
what I was gonna say about the Hispanics, the thing that they do differently that we don't, Black people, I hate to say it, we literally make Section 8 a lifestyle. And what I mean by that is the grandma has had it your entire life. So then the mom does it her entire life, right? And then her kids do it their entire life, right? Nobody's really making an effort to break the cycle. In the Latino communities, what I notice is that I'm not gonna say every Section 8 property because the programs are different too, and that's another thing. You have vouchers, and then you have program or project based Section 8. Like if you're in an apartment complex, they have apartment complexes where Section 8 is just for that apartment complex. Different levels, but it's all Section 8. So when you leave, that Section 8 does not go with you. So that incentivizes someone to stay forever. Does that make sense?
Yep,
Because
makes sense.
instead of waiting 20 years to get a voucher, I'd rather just get into this property for wait 1 or 2 years on the wait list. And y'all, there's properties in the Midwest right now, Section 8, that could house us if we make a, certain income threshold. You could move in 6 months. You could move in, you could apply today, and we would start processing your paperwork tomorrow. But y'all don't know that because the system or the media just doesn't tell you that. But it's not hard to get into Section 8 housing. It's just, do you want to relocate? But what I was going to say is, project based means when you leave, it does not go with you. So it's faster to get in, but that incentivizes to stay. Okay, because why not? I got my little community. I know what's what over here. I get, my kids eat at the public school. I don't really have to do much. And I get SNAP. So SNAP and WIC and whatever else. What's the problem? Childcare is paid for. I ain't got to do nothing but kick my feet up. So I think that that's essentially why it appeals to us so much for single black women or even single black men. I've seen a lot of men in housing too. But with the other groups, I'll say namely Hispanics and Asians. Asians typically go in when they're seniors, but that's because they have their pensions from Korea, Japan, China, blah blah blah. They have money coming in that you're never going to see. Those are the ones that do it there. Hispanics, what they do is they come in, they get their kids in, and they put their kids in college because a lot of these properties offer scholarships. A lot of these properties have excess funds that the government gives them to put out to these families. Every year that I went to a national convention for affordable housing when I was like maybe 2009 through maybe 2015, it was always the Hispanic kids getting up there and getting their scholarships to go to UCLA, USC, whatever schools. It was always them. It was never us. So Hispanics
That's
go in.
sad.
No, Hispanics go in with the plan. And what they
Mm.
do is they will put, because I've seen paperwork for people that work for SpaceX. And I can't explain it here, but when I said that 100K comment, you could make $100,000 and only pay only have $480 of that income count towards your household gross income. So you can stay on Section 8. The only caveat is that you have to live with your parents and they have to count you as a dependent. Section
Hmm.
8 has so many loopholes and these
Yeah,
other groups use them, and that one kid making 100,000 saves that money, goes and gets some property and stays in the damn Section 8 unit, y'all, because you can have $1 million in assets. HUD only counts, I think, 0.06% towards your annual income. So you can have assets on top of assets and still get into Section 8 housing. But you
but
know why
here's the
we
thing,
don't use it?
Victoria.
I was gonna say we don't use it
Okay.
because it's in the HUD handbook, and the handbook is like a lot of pages. Don't nobody want to read.
Hmm. Well, they say if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in the book. The other
Yeah.
thing is you have to have $100,000 skills. You have to have
Listen,
$100,000 skills in order to even get the $100,000 job over there. So
can I speak to what
the
Purple Rain said?
uh
I don't know if you see. I
is
don't
it
know
this
if
one
you're
here?
looking at the comments. No, 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 no.
Oh, the other one?
Correction. No, I was gonna say, but black kids they get the opportunity. That's the thing. The scholarship opportunity has to go out to everybody. It's only the
Yes.
Latinos that apply.
That applies. So, and we see this with a lot of different things. If something doesn't specifically say black, we are less inclined to
Yes.
actually go for these things as well. So, I got what Victoria was saying. If the Hispanic kids are reading the information from HUD and applying for the scholarship, they're more likely to get it. What percentage of it, black youth are actually reading it, know that it exists, and are
Hmm.
competitive? Because we can't be applying for stuff and not competitive, you know?
Right.
So, um, and I would bet I would kind of bet that they would want their one token black kid up there. So if you, no, I'm being serious. So
No, that's how I got to space camp. I was
yes,
look, that's how we got there, y'all. We were black kids and we were kind of smart and we knew how to write essays, you know? Like
mhm,
that's how we got to space camp. It was fun.
yeah, look, sometimes it's worth it to be a token.
Hell yeah. That's why I said like when we walk up and down the street, we are already a token whatever because we're not the majority. So we already stand out, y'all. We just want to stand out for the right reason. That's all,
Mhm. She's saying,
you
like, yeah,
know?
I agree with you guys. Yeah, yeah, we're we're fine. Mocha Mommy,
Oh,
hello.
hey Mocha Mommy. I was gonna say Purple Rain says something about the Section 8 properties and their conditions. I
Hmm.
just wanted to speak to
Yes.
that and then I'll be
Hmm.
quiet. When I got into the industry in 2005, I think it was, y'all, I went for a property, no, an assistant, like like, I don't even know what the hell they call them. Basically, a secretary, y'all.
Okay.
So I was going out. I moved from telecommunications and went, just applied for this random job. So, do you know it was for a Section 8 property on the beach?
Ooh.
So I will tell you this, and I'm from Los Angeles. Yes, y'all, Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, Venice Beach, every property, high-rise buildings, y'all. Don't play with me. I've been in this industry a minute. I know what I'm talking about. High-rise buildings, they are Section 8. Okay. So no, because this is the thing. HUD pays for your property upkeep. HUD pays a significant part of your mortgage. HUD requires that you keep properties up to a certain standard because your subsidy hinges on that. So I get what you're saying, but that's not true. I think you see this more with smaller private Section 8 owners, like the ones that everybody's trying to be online, get your house and get Section 8. That's who you're talking about. But the properties, yes, I have seen some like that, but that's very short lived. All one person has to do is report that crap. That's it. And HUD will be
Mhm.
out there in a flash, and that they would nip that in the bud so quick. But what happens is the tenants, because they're fearful, they think they're going to get kicked out, they don't know their rights. Tenants have more rights than owners. Okay, they don't realize that, so they never say anything, and the owner doesn't give a crap. They're not going to walk through that property all the time. They got to rely on staff that's underpaid to do their job. But no,
Hmm.
but the point I wanted to make, no, they are beachfront communities, okay? And there's a reason some people they say, "Oh, I pay 2,000, but these weed smokers live next door." Yeah, because that property owner has a specific set of those units that he promised the government, the county, whatever, that he'll keep affordable, right? That
Yep.
that's all that is. They literally have a section of the units there that have to be Section 8, and then y'all have to pay $3,000-$4,000 for rent. So, and I'm sorry, I sound like I was talking forceful. Purple Rain, I'm not trying to come across crazy, but it's because I have the experience in this industry that I can say that is absolutely unequivocally not true. Not true. I've seen way too many um just luxury apartments. I've worked at some nice ass apartments. I can't co-sign that because I was the person getting these units remodeled. I was the person walking around with the HUD commissioned property inspector that literally wrote me up for having hairline cracks in the cement, right? I've seen it. And the assistance hinges on the quality of the property, right? So I think,
Okay.
and again, it's only because I'm in it. So whatever industry you're in, Purple Rain, I know you could probably tell me that whole industry front to back, right? But when people say that about Section 8, I'm like, y'all, don't drink that Kool-Aid. Don't drink that Kool-Aid. They looking nice.
Firecrack is asking about your channel. So it's the Credit Solutionist is Victoria's
Yeah.
channel. But y'all can't be going over there acting crazy because she's trying to get more of the other ethnicities.
No, listen,
Eh,
and I had an epiphany this week, and I hate to do it, because I'm opinionated, as y'all can tell. I don't be shutting up. But I gotta just go back to basics, man. I keep saying it, but people just want to know about debt consolidation. They just want to know about debt elimination. They don't want to know my personal opinions about a lot. All my calls get booked when I just tell you straight, regular, vanilla information.
Girl, that's why you
Right?
come over here, because over
I
here you can
know.
run your mouth. So,
Yeah, I figured I
um,
got to stop being spicy over there. So,
so that's why we shouldn't simulcast from this channel over there, because I need to be able to say what I want to say. I want to come up here to
facts.
Still Rocks. Some never leave that brick jungle. It is so much easier to stay on assistance if that's all you know. I
It is.
want to say, first of all, true. Second, that is the reason why so many people want entitlement programs cut. Because unless, especially if a person has been multi-generational um, recipients of
Hmm.
those programs, unless you say you are not getting this program anymore and you push the person out,
Hmm.
they most likely will not want to experience anything more. Yes, you'll have your 1 to 2% of people who
Yeah.
will say, yeah, I want something bigger and better, and I know I could do it, but most people won't, which is why
Right.
I personally am okay with everybody gets down at some point, right? So, you
Hmm.
know, 2 years, let's say, within 2 years, either you can get a new job
Yeah.
or you can become a licensed, LPA, right? LPN, licensed practical nurse. You can get some sort of certification in cybersecurity. You can do
Hmm.
something. 2 years is enough time if you're, smack down, which at some point we all are,
Yep.
for you to get yourself back up. After 2 years, unless you are elderly or unless you're like, autistic or something like that, I don't want to see you, you know?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
even there are people who are autistic who go to work. There are
Yeah.
high functioning autistic people who go to work. So,
A lot of them are our bosses.
that's
It's like people be wondering why they so weird. I'm like, yeah, because they're on the spectrum, fool. Like, what do you
Mhm.
think?
So, Roxelle says, I speak with a lot of people who want to go to school for free. I tell them a few places they can look for grants,
Nice.
but they don't want to research and apply. True. Unless it's a link with 3 questions, they don't want to do it. It's the truth. And one
So
of the
true.
best ways to get your school paid for is to network, get to know people. People say, hey, they got this, actually, at the event I was at yesterday, I was at a legislative meeting and they're like, yeah, we have for the county,
On 1 second.
yeah, sure. For the county students, we have this scholarship. If I had not gone to that meeting, I wouldn't have known. So look, you got to be out in the community. Mukamami is saying, my daughter was a token student athlete. A lot of NIL deals for team sports appearances need to show diversity to get endorsements. Absolutely. Look, you can definitely use the token to your benefit.
Hmm. And don't be
Uh,
so offended by the token thing, y'all. It's like, who
mm-mm.
do you think a dumb blonde or a blonde woman that's college educated gets upset that she's considered a dumb blonde if she benefits from being a dumb blonde in that moment? Like, let's
No,
be real. Like,
give it a
because
that's
yeah, like, who cares if I think you're a dumb blonde if you have a master's? Who cares? Because I'm gonna think what I want to think. It's not really
mhm.
your job to try to convince me otherwise. Because I don't know. Like, sometimes when people, like, I assume something about a person, even when they try hard to prove to me that they're not that thing, I still believe that they are. So who cares?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm like, why are we trying to
I don't care.
change
I'm
how
here.
people see us? Like, what?
No,
No.
I'm here for the bag. I'm here for the bag. Lynn
Yeah.
is asking us a question. If you were me, would you take a job at the IRS now? Uh, it depends on the job. So taxes will always be collected. Even with Trump slashing taxes, taxes will always be collected. Within the article that we read, they're looking at the jobs that are mandatory, like the agencies and the they call it like statutorily mandated. So I would kind of look at what the stability of that specific job is. Now, the one thing about the IRS versus a lot of other agencies is if you go to the IRS, you work there for a couple of years, you really learn the tax code in and out. Maybe you get your associate's degree as a CPA. You could easily flip that and go work in the private sector as a tax accountant because you would have worked at the IRS. You would have seen it from the inside out. So, like Lynn, like if I were you, I would consider that maybe as you can continue to work in the IRS after this first 2 years if you choose to, but you could flip it and go work for a CPA firm or set up your own shop or do some tax preparation on your own. So that's what I would do.
And make sure you've paid all
Right.
your taxes because they're going to scrutinize you. So you make sure that you're on the up and up before you apply.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's what I would do. Hey, Jessica. Good to see you, girl. Purple Rain is saying, I'm also wondering about bridge programs to help them get off Section 8 and stay off of it too.
That all exists. They just don't want to
Yeah.
utilize
Yeah.
it, you know. But that's why they got mad at Ben Carson, because he was going to put a limit on it. And it's so crazy how people fight tooth and nail to stay in poverty and to stay under the thumb of the government and then simultaneously complain. I don't understand.
So it's very interesting. I was like, I wonder if Trump has picked a HUD secretary yet. And Ben Carson may return.
I hope he does. I
Carson,
love, and
according
he's
to Politico, Carson, actually, I'll show this for everybody here.
okay.
This is according to Politico. Carson seen as favored to return as HUD secretary because they haven't named a HUD person yet. They've named all the other major agencies. So, if chosen and confirmed, Carson would likely seek to slash the department's funding and reverse Biden-era fair housing policies. So, oh, I'm sorry, you all can't see it. Ben Carson may be coming back. Of all the people who worked for Trump during his first term, you didn't hear a peep out of Trump with regards to Ben Carson. Not a peep. Even when January 6th went down and afterwards, nobody has heard anything from Ben Carson. Ben Carson has been like quiet as a church mouse.
Girl, he a sleeper cell. That's our problem too. We talk too much.
Which
Ben
we
was
can
just
learn from Ben
chilling.
Carson. Ben was chilling. Ben didn't
Yeah.
say a word. So now they, if the people over, Project 2025, Trump, etc., they're all like, well, he hasn't said anything. He's probably cool. We'll let him back in.
And that's going to be that's going to be part of Elon's plan. Y'all pay attention. Pay attention.
Yes. Sometimes it's better to keep your mouth shut.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Keep
like
your mouth
all we
shut.
gotta just like, okay, I'm gonna say it and not get too much into it, but for the last 4 years, Cherie, what you been doing? You've been chilling, right? You ain't been out there protesting. You ain't been out there with your
Girl,
Make
hell
America
no.
right. You ain't had no Make America Great Again hat on, and
Nope.
neither have I. I just sat
Nope.
quiet as hell. I just let everybody talk. I watched, Papa Joe hobble back and forth and didn't say nothing. And nobody, and honestly, if you meet me in person, you don't know what I support or who I support. You
Certainly
don't.
don't. I don't tell everybody, like the person I talked to yesterday, the military person,
Yeah.
diehard Democrat. I never said pro or against. I was just quiet on the phone, and then I gently guided the conversation to something else. But yeah, like I'm not going to ruin my relationships over a MAGA hat either. Like, and that's not worth it. But
It's best to
yeah.
it's best to just be quiet because people are very sensitive and it is what it is. This time it's been more calm, which I appreciate, but I'm pretty sure like it's a pimple waiting to pop.
Well,
Something's
yeah,
gonna
it's gonna be
happen with it.
crazy. It's gonna be
Yeah.
crazy. But here's the thing, that whatever is gonna happen there isn't gonna affect me. Why? Because I'm not in it. I'm
And that's
all
why
the way over here.
And that's what I'm saying. Like for us, this is such a unique opportunity because let the other groups get mad about who's in the office and how Kamala didn't win, blah 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 blah. Y'all ain't gonna hear from her again. She don't support none of
She
y'all.
no,
Upperly mobile black women. She don't support you. I'm
nope,
sorry, and she
nope,
don't support the men you want to be with either.
no.
Sorry, that was my mic drop moment. But she doesn't. She is living high on the hog, as they say, with her white man.
Purple Rain is right about this, but I've noticed on every government agency website, they have information to help you. So just read the fine print. So
Hmm.
I'll admit this as well. Most of you know I'm a mortgage loan officer. There are guidelines that, I mean, are hundreds of pages with regards to like based on how the person makes their income and how
Hmm.
long they've been working and all sorts of stuff. Whether or not they can apply, can be approved for those
Hmm.
loans. And yes, sometimes I have to go in and read the fine print and work certain things out in order to make sure that my clients can get approved for the
Hmm.
loans that they're looking for. That's the boring stuff, but that's the stuff that
Yeah.
gets you paid. That's the stuff that gets you paid. So
Why do you
we're
think
going to
it is that we're kind of like that though? Like we have to have excitement and people have to be stimulated for whatever reason. Like why do you think that is?
um, I think that it is easier. We think that it's easier to uh, just, drown everything out and just listen to the entertainment, what Tyler Perry is doing, the mess with Oprah, all that other stuff that's out there. It's actually harder to sit down and say, I'm going to take this cybersecurity or this Python course. I'll take up Python as a great example
Mm,
because I was going to do it. It's a 6-month Python course, but at the end of that, you would be on track to make $150,000 salary.
mm.
It's harder to do that, you know. Um,
Why do you think
so
it's
yeah.
harder? Because the time's gonna pass anyway.
Uh,
Ah, down to earth just said it. Okay.
what does she say? Let me come and see what she said. Escapism is easier than reality. Sure,
And I've suffered from
sure.
that too. So I that's why that what she said kind of struck me.
I've suffered from it. Yes. I know that there are certain things, even now, even the past couple of weeks, there are certain
Mm,
things that a thing that I should have been doing over the past couple of weeks that I have not been doing. And I know
hmm.
it's going to come to bite me in the butt, you know? No, no, I'm serious. I'm,
I like
honest and
that you're being
serious,
truthful.
being very truthful.
Yeah.
Uh, but, you know, it is, and sometimes we don't have the belief in ourselves.
Yeah, I
Sometimes we
just
don't
realized I've been
believe.
sitting here with my closet open. Hold on, because I was like, why am I looking at all my clothes? Hold on,
Oh,
y'all.
I couldn't
I don't want
even
y'all to see the bodies in there. Hold on.
I couldn't see it. Sometimes it's hard. It's what was I thinking? I'm sorry. We were asking the question about like why is it hard, right?
Yeah.
I think it's hard because sometimes we don't believe in ourselves. That's what I was headed to, what I was going to
Okay.
say.
Accurate.
Sometimes we don't believe that we can actually do it. So it's easier to just sit and watch Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
It's easier to um, eat a whole pint of Ben and Jerry's than to say, no, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to get up tomorrow morning and I'm going to go for a power walk. I'm going to go for a run or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Like I
hard
could have
to be
I could have
disciplined and
walked.
consistent.
Now, as I say, I could have walked yesterday, but you know what I did? I did walk, but I walked to go get like an oatmeal cream pie, and it was so good. Oh my God, it was so good. Like, and I don't even
Yeah.
be liking that kind of stuff. That's how I know I'm probably like stressed and stuff. And I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. Because I do that, and I know when I talk to people during my consultations and stuff, that's what they do. They kind of zone out. they purchase with their emotions and stuff. And
Mhm.
like, I try to get to the root of what's happening, or at least kind of uncover it a little bit too. So you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I was in therapy a while ago, she just talked about the fact that everything you do serves an emotion. It serves you
Mm,
uh, feeling more comfortable.
mhm.
And oftentimes we do things because we want to be comfortable. So it's more comfortable to eat, like I said, that pint of Ben and Jerry's, or
Yeah.
it's more comfortable to watch The Real Housewives. I don't know, people are watching The Real Housewives, is it to watch Fresh and Fit or whomever, right? It's more comfortable to do those things than to say, you know what? Since Notary World is on the screen here, I'm going to go to this notary class. I'm going to, get my stamp, and I'm going to go and network with all the title companies, and I'm going to do what Notary World is doing and get $8,000 a month
Mhm.
income,
Right. Right.
right? It's not that it's hard, it's just that it takes a lot of discipline and consistency, and it's more comfortable for me to stay where I am. Same thing
Mm.
with we were talking about with people not getting off the system. This is why I am a
Yep.
fan of, you got a time limit, right?
Yep. I agree with that.
And honestly, like if I were doing the program, I think I've said this before, you would have 2 years, because right, because I believe within 2 years you could do anything from being a nurse to being, a cybersecurity person. Like you can get your associates in accounting, something like that. But the truth is, within 6 months, if you haven't signed up for anything, done anything, you're off the
Mhm.
program anyway. That's how I would set up the program.
Just
You
like
know,
unemployment, you got to show
yes.
proof that you
That you're
actually
actually,
need
yes,
this, you
needed
know?
and are actually looking for a job. So, Notary
Yeah.
World asked a question that I have been asking. Now, I have my answer. Do Black Trump supporters care about the lack of Black representation in the cabinet? Honest question. Cherie doesn't give a crap. I'm tired of I'm tired of seeing the social media posts and articles about the lack of Black representation in Trump's cabinet. I don't care. I do see the irony with regards to especially Byron Donalds, who worked really hard to make inroads with Black men. But I don't care if there's no Black representation, because one of the things that I've learned, especially over the past 12 years, is that just because someone Black is sitting in that seat doesn't mean it's going to benefit me. I'm more likely to get more benefit from the white man sitting in the seat than the Black man. So, with HUD, for example, I don't think I need HUD. I don't think so. But with HUD, it may be time to put a white man in HUD. Can I be honest? I'm
Now
being honest.
it's gonna be a Latino. That's as close as you're gonna get.
Put a Latino in HUD. Put an Asian person in HUD. I don't care. They may
Ain't
do
no Asian
better.
gonna do that. They know better. They ain't gonna do that.
But what do you think, Victoria, about this?
What I'm gonna say is gonna sound spicy, but it's not, notary, I promise. Why the hell do we care about that when we don't even care about Black representation in our own households? Where are
Ooh.
the Black daddies? I'm offended that ain't no representation of Black daddies up in the households at I'm just I Cherie kind of knows a little bit about my background. Starts in the home, sister. I don't care what's going on over there in the White House. I don't. Because I'm sorry, the president, it lives in my house. Okay. That's how it is.
Mm-mm.
So no, and I was gonna say, just if you could expound on it a little bit, notary, why do you want to see them there? Is it because you want Black people to get a break? Is it because you want us to get reparations? Is it like, what benefit is it, or is it just optics that you want to see? Because Ben Carson, I mean, hey, little black dot. I'm a black speck of pepper wherever I go. I'm the one little speck of pepper in the sea of salt, white salt,
And
not even the pink stuff.
I do
You
want to
know,
say for Notary World, I don't know if she necessarily cares. I think she's just asking.
just
So,
asking a general question. That's
yeah,
what I
this is
that's
just a
what I
general
figured.
question. Yeah,
But
I
that
don't
was
know.
my
We don't want to accuse.
oh,
We
I
don't
know.
want to
See, that's
accuse
why.
notary wrong.
But look, but notary, if you hear still here, girl. But did not preface it. This is why I be trying to, because I told somebody yesterday. My brother told me I ain't got no tact, and he told me I need to grow up. So I said, okay, I'll think about it. But that was it. Thank you, notary. I figured that's what it was,
Yeah,
but that would be my question back. So my answer is because I'm not necessarily a Trump supporter. I vote for whoever makes the most sense to me. So I'm not a registered Republican. I think Cherie might be different, but
I am a registered Republican. Yeah.
yeah, I damn sure am not a Democrat. I'll tell you that. But I am not a registered Republican. So in that case, like I said again, my question back to the person, my answer would be I don't care. My question back though would be for what? Why do you need to see the representation? How do you feel that you're underrepresented? You are an American citizen. How are you underrepresented? Is my question.
And here's the thing for me. Over the last 12 years, I'm asking what has a Congressional Black Caucus done?
Well,
I'm
that was
I
my question because I'm like, I ain't seen nothing
and
really move and
so
change.
so so why do I care? Outside of HUD
Yeah.
well, the Surgeon General I think was black. I think the Surgeon General was doing a good job. I at
Mhm.
least had seen from Surgeon General the discussion of loneliness and how it affects our health. So like stuff like
That's a
that.
big deal.
But
That's a
that
big deal.
that wasn't because he was black. That's because he's a medical professional.
Right.
But yeah, like I will see, different black people in different spaces, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not trickling down to my life. And
Mhm.
it could be because I'm close to 50 now, but people are saying Kamala Harris, little brown girls would have been able to look up to Kamala Harris and say, I could do that. I could be anything I want. And I'm like, if you need to see, uh, how do I say this without being mean? Um, I don't need I don't need to see, and I have never, even as a child, needed to see a black person in a specific role to
Mhm.
think that I could do that and to think that I could be there.
I'm
And,
the same.
just like when she lost, are you telling me those same little black and brown girls all of a sudden think that they can't do it, that they're less than or lesser than?
I don't
I'm
think
like,
so.
"Ugh,
How come y'all didn't want to be Condoleezza Rice?
how, oh, well,
That's
Was
a
the
question to
Surgeon
that's
Surgeon
a
General
question to the
Indian?
audience. Yeah.
Was the Surgeon General Indian? I thought the Surgeon General, maybe it was the last Surgeon General in Trump. I know there was a Surgeon General I thought there was a Surgeon General that was black. Who was the Surgeon General during Trump then?
I know I'm all way, girl. Did we see that in Ebony magazine or like Jet or something? Was this for real?
No, no,
Um,
no. I thought there was a Surgeon General who was black. Um,
Jerome Adams.
Jerome
Seems like
Adams.
that was a while
Yeah.
ago.
I'm sitting here, I was like, I know there, I'm gonna pull it up.
All
I
right.
know there was share this tab, and I'm going to put it on the screen here. So this is Jerome Adams.
That's him.
He served as a 20th Surgeon General from September 2017 to January 20th, 2021.
Hmm.
He looks like a black man to me, Jerome Adams.
Straight up.
So yeah, and look, we had black representation during the Trump administration in the name of a Surgeon General. I don't know why I thought this guy was during the Biden administration, but that's even more interesting that he was during the Trump administration. So, yeah. Um,
My own, like I said, my only question is what do you need to see it for?
mhm,
Is it motivation? Again, do you have interests that you think that they'll speak to? Like what are they supposed to do for you is my
mhm,
question. Like what's the expectation? But no, like
mhm.
again, nobody wanted to be Condoleezza Rice. That's the thing. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. I mean, I don't know how many of y'all, I'm gonna be spicy. Don't nobody up in here want to be Candace Owens.
I surely don't. But there's a reason for it. So there are people who, anytime we talk about Candace Owens, there's somebody that gets in my comment section, not any of the ladies here, but somebody who'll
Yeah.
say, "You're jealous of Candace Owens. I don't understand why you don't like Candace Owens." It's not that I don't like Candace Owens. Most of what Candace Owens says, I agree with. My issue with Candace Owens is I think that she's slimy. I have said that multiple times. I would not trust her as far as I could throw her, and I can't throw her anywhere.
Hmm.
So that is my issue with Candace, is that she's slimy. So, you know, a person can say the same things you agree with, and yet you don't trust them.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Um, you are all talking about tech as well. We're talking about tech.
I saw that.
uh,
They have like 3 different
yeah,
conversations.
okay, y'all are having different conversations in here. So, okay, all right. Uh, I led a project transferring 70K six-figure jobs to lower cost countries. Wow.
Oh wow.
I believe it.
How was
I
that for
believe
you?
it.
Was that a did you have a crisis with that? Were you torn? Were you conflicted, lectury bucket? Were you conflicted about this? Did you raise a stink about it, or did you just do what you were assigned? You know?
You have to do what you're assigned.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not speaking for her. I'm just saying overall, you have to do what you're assigned.
Yeah.
And you also have to say, what can I learn from this?
Mm-hmm.
What can I learn from this? So,
Facts. You ain't
yeah,
never lied, Cherie. You ain't
yeah.
never lied. Okay.
I ain't never lie. But yeah, so it's very interesting. So let's talk a little bit about upskilling, and then I'm really going to get out of here because I
Okay.
want to, you know, mend this cold and get some rest.
And I gotta go get my chicken, girl. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
eat your chicken. So I was invited. So last week, we had our 2025 planning for my company. And I actually had to go. I drove about 2.5 hours to get to the location where we had it, and we were all in a big room, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things that came up in leadership, and this is for all of my ladies who are looking for promotable tasks, right? One of the things that came up in leadership is we want to shift some of the things that we're doing with regards to customer experience within our organization and adding in AI and things like that. And ladies, the guy who was leading this whole charge said, I think I want to have 5 people who want to be a part of this in order to kind of go through the process and work with me on building this new customer experience for the company. Ladies, whose hand was up first to participate in that? Mine.
I was gonna say, hopefully yours. I thought you was gonna say something else. I already know yours went
No,
up
mine. That is a promotable task, ladies. So
for
the reason
sure.
I'm thinking about it is because, I was talking with him earlier today, and he said because of me, I called our group alpha. I was like, you need some alpha testers because you have like beta testers who are like
Mm.
the second group of people. And I said, no, you need some alpha testers. You need some people who are going to like go through the process first, so we call ourselves the alpha group. But here's the thing, you want to figure out how you can get promotable tasks, how you can be in places where you can really grow and stretch and things like that. Remember, I told you that I work for a small company, which I do. We had our discussion about careers. It was career advice that Victoria Venturelli and I did a couple of weeks ago. And I said you could work in small companies and you'll be invited to participate in projects that you wouldn't normally be able to get access to in big companies. So I am here to say to you ladies that there will never, well, I will say there will never. This is still a great time to skill up, technical skills. So now I'm going to start pushing myself with regards to AI and technology and how it relates to customer experience. And I'll be able to take those skills, if I decide to go someplace else, to wherever I want to go or do whatever I want to do after this project is over. So for 2025, we're going to be working for 12 months on this whole customer experience thing and launch something at the end of next year with regards to that. You could be doing the same thing in your companies. So do you have something to say about that, Victoria?
Yeah, I was going to ask, why is it that we're so hesitant to put our hand up? You know, why are we so stuck on this? I'm only going to do my job and that's it. These people better not tell me nothing.
Well, we had that conversation a couple of weeks ago. That's the dumbest thing you can say.
I swear, I told you y'all, we stand out anyway. They already expect you to barrel through everything. You might as well go on and raise your hand. Like, what do you got to lose? You know, you
But
have
here's the
nothing to
thing,
lose.
so I want my ladies here to be strategic about the projects you're taking on. I don't want you taking on just any old project, right? I want you to take on projects that are promotable tasks or that are going to push you and push the envelope in some sort of way that it looks great on your resume. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm participating in this part of what our company is doing. So,
Hmm.
um, I'm going to say this term because I can't think of another term right now. Lower tier Black women are the ones who are saying, all I'm doing is my job. Don't talk to me, leave me alone, etc., etc. Upwardly mobile Black women are, now, you do not say yes to everything. You even don't say yes to most things, but there will be projects that come through, or you'll ask your mentor or your boss's boss, hey, what's happening? And there'll be certain projects that you will want to get on because it's really great for you and
Hmm.
your upward mobility. And this is one of them. This is one of them.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of seeing beyond it, and that's
Hmm.
it's kind of a call to action for all upwardly mobile Black women to
Hmm.
start thinking strategically. Like, I guess I've never played chess before. I can only talk about checkers, you know.
Hmm.
But you think ahead, right? You kind of think you have to study your opponent, look at how they move, study the people in your office, look at how they move, right? You know,
Hmm.
and see where you fit in that process. And like she said, like, I would much rather sit in a room with a VP and like a couple other higher ups and feel uncomfortable than to go and head the DEI task force or
No.
the gay and lesbian committee. I wouldn't want to be on that committee. Like,
Oh
and
God.
for some reason, oh sorry, but for some reason, like, we'll raise our hand for stuff like that, and I'm like, yo, that has nothing to do with you.
No.
That has nothing to do with you. And if you want to go into nonprofit space, it might help, but I don't want that on me. Not that there's anything bad about it, but it doesn't advance the organization financially at all. And it doesn't help me in my title. It just doesn't. So it's I don't know. Like, what could you think? What's a class in school that like was so useless? Like homeroom. It's like saying, oh, I aced homeroom. It's like, oh, okay, so you showed up. Good job.
Hmm.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, that
yeah,
was
yeah,
just a way to see who's at school. That's what homeroom
yeah.
was. But like I said, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those groups. I'm just saying that that's more extracurricular. Do that at your community college or your university. Don't do that in your professional life.
No, no. The next 5 years will be about major, massive skill collection.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing that, like everything within your job that's extra miscellaneous tasks assigned need
Hmm.
to be about that, need to be about what is going to project us forward. I do want to
Yeah.
talk about this here.
Okay.
Unless I missed it, maybe you can talk about Black Project 2025 on the next stream. I'm going to tell you now, I saw a video about it.
Hmm.
It's not going to last 2 seconds. Pass. Um, I mean, we could do an hour-long stream about it, but pass,
Cherie like,
pass.
no. Yeah, Cherie don't be playing. She said,
I
look, don't mess with
I
me.
I saw the video of the young lady talking about Black Project because I watch stuff like that just because I'm curious to hear what's happening.
Hmm.
You honestly think there are enough Black people that will stick to a Black Project 2025 long enough for it to do what she thinks it's going to do. And she was asking for people to help her build the platform and things like pass.
Okay,
Girl,
we are not that far along as a people, y'all, to even endorse each other like that. Cut it out.
no,
Cut it
no,
out. You know what I
no,
mean? Like, no, it's not gonna happen.
no.
Especially if you saw, honestly, I hate to say it, but like if you saw what happened in the election, I'm sorry, y'all. Nobody's voting for a black woman to do anything. Okay? Like I'm sorry. Like it's not that we're not capable. It's just that to get a lot of people behind us of anything of any substance, it's hard. Especially if you're running based on the blackness. That's a lot of that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So Dawn to Earth is saying nope because it would have been done a long time ago. Yeah. Ron is
that
saying
part.
too many Black Project 2025. Yeah. So, you know, I I am uh
That's right up there
I
with
like
BLM. There's a bunch of
it
chapters of
is,
BLM, girl. Where they at now? Oh,
girl.
let me get off camera. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking too spicy. I'm like, let me be quiet. Okay.
I thought Black women were sitting down anyway. I'm so glad that you said that. I am supportive of any Black woman who is finally burning the cape. I've said that before. You know,
But we trying to be
don't
president. How we gonna burn the cape? What are you talking about? We want to work.
girl, girl
We
that
want to. We want to work our fingers to the bone. What are you talking about?
girl that non-black woman. No, no. So, I am a fan of you burning the cape. I am a fan of you sitting down, you getting your
Yeah.
nails done, your hair done, you relaxing for the next 4 years. Better yet, I am much more of a fan of you skilling up and getting your networks together. Because if you relax too much over the next 4 years, you may still get left behind. I have seen in the chat, there are certain people talking about quantum computing. I was watching CEO Drive Her a couple of days ago, talking about quantum computing, talking
Mm-hmm.
about blockchain and some of the things with crypto. Crypto is one aspect of blockchain, but blockchain is about to start surging again. Um, so, yes, we need to sit down, but honestly, I think the next 4 years is a time for you to run, the time for you to get your skills together, the time for you to get your multicultural networks together. Because what's happening with AI, what's happening with quantum computing, what's happening with robotics, other technologies, if you're not prepared by the end of the decade, you're going to seriously get left behind. You're going to get seriously left behind. So I, I am burn the cape, yes, but I would even be careful about saying, yeah, self care and skill up, Rana. Self care and skill up. That's
Yeah.
at least what I'm doing over the next 4 years. And actually, I have been skilling up over the past 2 years, and now my boss has flipped the switch for me at the beginning of 2025. I'm really going to be able to run and fly and do some major things in 2025. So yeah, I'm not doing anything black. I'm hiding behind my white husband if
Oh,
I have to.
ma'am, look, we over here. Look, I was telling. I think I might have told Shelly or somebody the other day. Look, y'all, I tried this. I tried to be down for the cause for like the last couple of years. Yeah, I think I'm going back to the Chads, man. I just that's where my heart is at. I think I'm going back, yo. I think
You
I
can go
am.
back. You can go back.
I think I'm going
Yes.
back. Yeah, it's
Dawn
time.
Earth is saying, I'm about to head over to IBM to take these free AI classes after this. Yes, you should.
Why
And
not?
then what you do is you get either on Fiverr or Elance, was it Upwork, I think is what it's called. And you get your some you start building your portfolio, or you network with some people and you actually build a portfolio. I think blockchain and quantum computing would be insane. Yeah. It's going to really like take off. It really is. So I'm not sitting because of political differences. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
I was
Um,
gonna say about that blockchain thing. I did a live stream about it, I think like 2 years
mhm,
ago, but it's kind of interesting once you dive into it, just reading up on it, and the rules and regs are changing inside so much. It's a lot of what should I say? Like trust. Trust isn't the word I'm looking for, but it's basically that because you have to literally trust everybody that's like working within the system to be on the up and up. Because as soon as one thing changes, you got to tell everybody about it. And there's a lot of checks and balances within that whole thing. I only looked at it in terms of crypto. So I thought, wow,
mhm,
that's pretty interesting, but
mhm.
they document everything. So
Yeah, they do.
information is a big deal within that realm. And I
Mhm.
honestly think black people have a pretty just because we pay attention to everything, we kind of, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I think that this kind of stuff would be cool for us to get into, just to kind of dive in, keep the mind busy, and learn how intricate systems work that don't necessarily relate to your race or anything like that. It's more of your cognitive ability and how you put things together, how you rationalize, all that kind of stuff. That's why I think like tech and all that in general is good for us, because
Yeah,
you can just dive into it and who cares what color you are. So
yeah. Well,
it's
that is it for me.
all
Thank you,
right.
everybody, for being here. Put an exclamation point in the chat if you enjoyed tonight's conversation. Like I said, I'm always a broken record. You need your skills, you need your networks, you need your resources. But, it'll be interesting to see ultimately what happens with this Doge group, the Department of Government Efficiency. Um, we will know in the next. I I I I might have to actually read the op-ed itself because I want to know. Vivek said that by July 4th, 2026, Doge will be done. So I want to know when he says it'll be done, if that just means that they're going to give the recommendations to the administration or if like all of the job cutting is going to be done by that point. I am curious about that. But we'll see what happens, over the next couple of years. And again, if you have family members or friends that are federal work employees, I'm sure they're already like shaking in their boots, but have them think strategic. No, 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 I'm serious. Have them think strategically about, reaching out to Mentor Shelley, starting a networking and being strategic. So you might buy some Doge just in case. That is not financial advice.
Yeah,
It's
I'm not
not
even gonna
financial
fret.
advice.
I bought mine like years ago, so I got a little bit sitting somewhere. So
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
never thought it'd come around again, but hey, here we are.
All
So
right.
yep.
Yeah. All righty then, my friends. Thank you so much, ladies, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye.